Weather update. As we've been reporting this morning that IFP leader Dr. Mangosuthu Buthelezi is to step down as the leader of the party at its next national conference. He made the announcement at the special media briefing in Durban yesterday afternoon. But to take this discussion further, we're joined by the IFP Chief Whip, Narend Singh, and he's live from our studios in Durban. Mr. Singh, good morning to you and thank you so much for joining us here on Morning Live.
Good morning, Palesa, and good morning to your viewers.
Thank you so much indeed. Many people, Mr. Singh, including political analysts, are saying that Dr. Buthelezi is leaving the party at the time that the party is gaining numbers, also taking into consideration the party's performance in last year's local government elections. Do you think his departure will have an impact in the party?
Yes, certainly his departure is going to have an impact on the party. But what we are pleased about is the fact that he has offered himself to guide us in the next few years, as long as his health allows him, and he's willing to do so. We're not going to put any pressure on him to do that, but it's always good to have a father figure around to guide you, to mentor you, to make sure you don't make mistakes and correct you where you're wrong. So to that extent, I think we're extremely pleased as members of the party that his presence will still be felt, although he will be taking it much easier than he has done for the last 50 or 60 years.
All right, so you can guarantee your party supporters that this will not have an impact on the 2019 general elections?
Not at all. In fact, we're going to grow the base. We're going to use the foundation that he set. And, you know, the foundation that he's left for us, for South Africa, is he has been a person of honesty, integrity. He's a person that accommodates people of South Africa, irrespective of race, color, religion. He hasn't had his finger in the till. There's not once that you've heard of Prince Buthelezi being accused of any corruption of any sort, which is something that's endemic nowadays, where taxpayers' money are being put into people's pockets. And I think that is a very, very solid foundation for a politician who has been there for so many years to leave back to younger people like us and the new president to be elected.
And according to the party's statement, another candidate has already been identified, of course, by the name of Mangosuthu. Talk to us about the procedures. How does it unfold? Because according to your constitution, anyone else can also put their name forward. Is he going to be assuming the presidency immediately when the prince steps down?
Well, no, you're quite right, Palesa, that our constitution provides for anybody to avail themselves as a candidate during our National Elective General Conference. However, when we met yesterday as an extended national council with about 500 delegates, we raised the issue of succession and possible candidates. And an offer was made open to any delegate to avail themselves. And the only person that actually was proposed by the National Executive Committee, supported by all the delegates, was Mr. Mangosuthu. So he would go in as the candidate, as one of the candidates, when we have the National Elective General Conference. But like you say, our constitution makes provision for anybody to throw their hat into the ring. But we're hoping that in the interest of unity and taking the party forward, that may not happen.
Yeah, and President Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi described Mr. Hlabisa as a leader of integrity, someone who has served the party with distinction. Is he his personal choice, or the choice emanated from across the party?
Well, you know, I must tell your viewers and you, Palesa, that Prince Buthelezi has been very, very reluctant, even though we as delegates asked him to name a successor. He's always left that decision to the wider membership of the party. And this proposal came from a senior member of the National Executive Committee, which was unanimously supported. But I think the pleasing thing is that Prince Buthelezi has assured us that he will be able to work with Mr. Hlabisa. They have an excellent relationship. Mr. Hlabisa has grown up in the party, being a member since 1978. He's grown in the structures. He's currently the provincial secretary of KwaZulu-Natal, and he's the mayor of the Big Five Hlabisa area, and he's proved himself in terms of his honesty, integrity, and leadership qualities. parties.
Yeah, and many had believed that his Deputy President, Mangosuthu Buthelezi, would actually be in the line to succeed him. But personally, Mr. Singh, are you available to stand? I mean, you've been with the party for as far as one can remember.
Yes, I was asked that question as well, but I think there's a time and place for everything. And I am currently the Treasurer General of the party, which is a very, very important position because, you know, money is the milk of politics. So we've got to make sure that we collect all the little few cents and rand that we get to keep the party going. And no, I'm not keen on being the president of the party, but I'm a loyal servant of the party at the behest of the party, and will continue supporting the president moving forward so that we can grow this party from strength to strength. We are on an upward mobility and trajectory, and we aim to keep that, and we aim not to let down the wonderful legacy that Prince Buthelezi has built, not only for Inkatha Freedom Party, but for the country as a whole.
Yeah, and I think a few weeks ago we had his Deputy President, Mangosuthu Buthelezi, with us here in studio, who was basically saying that Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi believes so much in young blood. I mean, he even went as far as making an example with himself that he's the Deputy President. You can also have some leaders within Parliament from the IFP. Talk to us about that. Are we likely to see a mixed generation of leaders within the IFP post your conference in December?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the age of Mr. Hlabisa probably would have been already disclosed in the media, but he is 52. So he's got a long, long way to go in politics. Inkosi Mzamo Buthelezi is much younger than him, and he will also have an opportunity to grow. But I can see a number of younger leaders emerging within the ranks of the IFP. We've got young members of parliament, and watch this space. We'll have even younger members of parliament moving forward because we believe that the young people of our country have not been as forthright coming out and voting in elections because they felt there was no need, leave it to everybody else. But the time demands that every single person in this country has to come to the polls and cast his or her vote. Otherwise, you know, if we continue in the trajectory that we are, this country is going to be ruined. And we can see the influences of people from outside of this country. We can see the influences of people in our state-owned enterprises, and this is something we've got to prevent at all costs because the taxpayer deserves better governance in South Africa.
Yeah, and as I have said before that you've worked personally with Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi all these years, what is that one thing that you're taking away from his leadership qualities? What have you learned throughout the years from him?
I think the one thing about him is his ability to embrace all South Africans. You know, always says to us that South Africa is a country made up of people of all religions, castes, colors. It's like a salad combination. You know, in a salad you get carrots and radish and all other ingredients, different in texture, different in taste, but when put together make up this beautiful South Africa that we must all be proud of. And Prince Buthelezi has walked the talk in that regard. He's accommodated many of us in senior leadership positions in the party, across the color, across caste and religion. And I think that is the mark of a statesman. And, you know, he's free from any corruption or mismanagement of funds. To the contrary, when he was Chief Minister of the KwaZulu Assembly, he returned funds to the fiscus. Now, there are very, very few African leaders in the continent who would do that. But he is very frugal with the way he spends money. He's taught us a number of things, and we certainly will miss him at our side, but we know he will be there for us whenever we need that fatherly guidance.
All right, Mr. Singh, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much indeed for talking to us here on Morning Live.
Thank you indeed.
All right, well, there you have it. That's Narend Singh. He is IFP Chief Whip, talking to us about the announcement that was made yesterday afternoon that the IFP leader, Dr. Mangosuthu Buthelezi, is to step down as the leader of the party at their conference coming up in December. So many people saying that we wait and see if the IFP will survive without him.